we have a special guest today because that's very Asian.
Thank you.
As we recently got married. And we want to share our story because we did things a little bit different.
So don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. We planned our wedding in 16 days during the lockdown. Flew down to Queenstown, booked a helicopter to be on a mountaintop just before sunset to say we do.
Yeah, so the only people there were Aki and I, and then our photographer, our celebrant, a helicopter pilot, and the videographer.
Which is a close friend of mine to help us make a secret video to announce our big news.
It was amazing.
Kick-ass. Highly recommended.
So a lot of people asked us afterwards, not only how did we make that day happen, but how did we do it in only 16 days?
Because we're fast, efficient people.
Probably the most important thing for us was starting from knowing what we want.
And what we don't want.
Yeah, the clearer you are on what you want, the easier the decisions are.
So should we talk about what we do not want for our wedding? Because I think that was the first question we asked.
Yeah, for ourselves anyway, what we didn't want. So
Debt.
Yeah, debt. That's true.
Because I'm crazy Asian, I'm not crazy rich Asian.
2 out of 3 though.
The thing is, we both do not want to get into a new chapter of our life by owing people money.
I mean, I think the average New Zealand wedding is about 30 grand. And we're not against, if you want to spend 30 grand, then go for your life.
I just don't believe in spending money we do not have.
Yeah, don't get into debt to have a big wedding. So that was number 1. Number 2 was a traditional wedding as well. It didn't hold a lot of appeal. Typical ceremony, and the walk down the aisle, and then do the vow thing, and then dad does the thing, and then sister reads a scripture, and then the mum sings a song, and then the brother does a whatever, and and then there's sand, and there's candles, and there's all this kind of crap.
What's the sand doing in the wedding?
I don't know. What was the third thing though?
I don't want a draining day for our wedding.
True.
Because we want the day to be something special, not like we are running an event.
Yeah.
For us, we started getting ready about 2:30 in our room with pizza, and we wrap everything up in an hour. This is how we do it.
In terms of what we did want though,
I want a helicopter.
she wanted a helicopter, that's true. Yeah, we still wanted something that was memorable, right? Something that was dramatic and interesting. And then, style-wise, you're probably better to speak to that, right?
Well, I drafted a storyboard. The working title that we had was Tarantino meets Vogue.
Yeah, so I think we achieved that.
We achieved it. I just hope one day when we show the video to our grandchild, they won't be embarrassed.
We just have to hope our hairstyles and clothes never go out of fashion.
No, it won't.
And then number 3, we still wanted it to be we wanted it to be an intimate day. We wanted it to be everything.
All about us.
Yeah, everything that we wanted and nothing that we didn't. So
Yeah.
it wasn't confused by trying to keep a whole bunch of other people happy.
Which is also why we have an after party that is just 2 of us. So what we wore during our big day? Well, I ordered everything during the lockdown from my favorite e-tailer, which is Net-a-Porter, instead of a traditional dress.
We said we're non-traditional, right? This is one of those things.
I wore a top and pants. So the top was like a structured shaped top with a tail, and Jacquemus pants, simply because I want to rewear the top and bottom in a separate occasion, for events or parties in the future, and I don't want to have one of those dresses that just sit in the cupboard after the wedding and do nothing.
Yeah, very true. And so it's kind of similar thing for me. I guess it's always going to be easy for guys though, right? You just buy a suit, right? We did spend a bit of time going from a few different retailers around Auckland to find one that we liked. Eventually settled on something at George Harrison. Ted Baker suit and the shirt. I already had the shoes from earlier time.
I think the very important thing about planning for your wedding outfit is not everything needs to be brand new. You don't need an excuse, but if you want to and you can afford to, then why not? But you do not need everything new.
Yeah, well, it's something old, something new, something borrowed,
new.
something blue. We
Yeah.
didn't have anything. No, we did have something blue. I was going to say, we had the
Something what?
something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue.
Did Do you remember how much we spent?
I think so. You probably know more specifically than I do. We were around about $9,000 in the end, I think.
I think it's 9,300
Something.
and 44 cents.
I mean, that covered everything. So that was even our accommodation when we were in Queenstown. That was even the meals and things while we were there. Flight hotels.
Every meal that we have in the 4 days in Queenstown.
Yeah. So yeah, sub $10,000 for the whole thing, and yeah, again including the helicopter and the celebrant and all that kind of stuff. Photographer.
I think the most important thing about our wedding planning is like working with who we know and the network we have.
Yeah, that's really true.
And that was really important because, for example, Jared is a close friend of mine, which helped us to do the video, which could cost a lot more if it's someone that you do not know.
Yeah.
And like even our hotel stay was much cheaper compared to what you can book like normally, because I have a connection with the hotel and they help us to sort out the most beautiful room with an amazing view.
Yeah, well, it's that idea of like knowing what you want as well. Like, because if you're going to ask people to help you, probably our biggest tip on that front was the clearer you can be about what you want from them, the easier it is for them to figure out if they can do that for you. So, you know, like Aki talked about, she made this amazing storyboard for the videographer. Like, imagine if we had just said, oh, just take some shots. Like, that's super hard, right?
Yeah,
like,
because,
what do you take?
Yeah, because it was a very vague brief. Therefore, the photographer or the videographer has to come up with a vision for you.
Yeah.
But if you have a very clear vision of what you want, then the easier it is to execute.
And then it's easier to keep yourself on budget because everybody knows what they're doing.
I like that.
So that's everything that was on our mind, but I guess if there's anything more you guys want to know, what?
Please comment down below and yeah, we'll make a second video if you like.
If you like.
If you like.
You should probably subscribe as well, by the way.
Yes, please. If you can, please give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. That kind of good stuff. That'll be lovely. And I will look forward to see you on the next one and hopefully bring this one back too.
Maybe.
You're coming back.
Okay.